But really what I thought was going to happen was we were going to be, the salsa kings of the universe. The main thing was like, when we were working in the restaurant, like we'd see these athletes come in and we actually got to interact with them and just see that they are just some good kids.
I was on the phone with Coke this week and I make a service call and they're like, is this the location Kate Martin works at? And I'm just like, no. Like,
The Leave Your Legacy show is brought to you by Bravehearts TV. Bravehearts TV is dedicated to bringing stories of resilience, courage, and hope to their viewers. Their mission, to inspire, uplift, and empower their audience by highlighting real-life heroes and their journeys. In partnership with Bravehearts for Kids, you, the viewers, become catalysts for saving the lives of children facing pediatric cancer. You can start by simply downloading their network app on Roku or Amazon Fire TV. Please visit braveheartstv.org. Iowa Sports Supply. Iowa Sports Supply in Cedar Falls, Iowa has all of your school sporting goods and corporate business apparel needs. Anything from jerseys, sports equipment, to online fan apparel stores. Remember to check out their website at iowasports.com or give them a call at 319-268-0125 and ask for Alex. Elevate with Robin. Elevate with Robin is a full-service brand marketing agency that specializes in developing purpose-driven brand identities. Elevate with Robin has the right blend of strategic thinking, creative courage, and commitment to elevate your brand with every interaction. Their mission? To empower brands to rise above their competition by creating powerful brand identities that resonate with their target audience. Visit elevatewithrobin.com. Hello and welcome to the Leave Your Legacy show. I'm your host, Kenyon Murray, and today we have some very special guests. I think without these guys, this whole thing wouldn't have happened, but we want to bring on the show Jerry Vasquez and Tyler Tiecke. Sticky without the S. I know, I don't want to mess up anybody's name, so I'm very bad about that with myself. So welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, appreciate
you. And I think
us.
It would have happened regardless. We can't take that kind of credit because you're destined for this type of stuff.
Yeah.
This is you, definitely. This is you at the best, I think. Like, you can talk to anybody. That's one of the first things I ever noticed about you. Like, you can have a conversation with anyone, which I think is just an amazing skill to have. So
I appreciate
thanks for
that.
having us.
But yeah, I mean, you guys gave me the platform. So it's been a great journey with you guys. And obviously too, like not only from a business standpoint, but you guys have done, I mean, in Iowa City, you've pretty much taken the NIL thing by storm. So we'll get to that later. But, just give our audience a little bit of your background. Jerry, we'll start with you. And then Tyler, you can wrap it up.
My name's Jerry Vasquez from Muscatine, Iowa. Partner with Michelle Vasquez, father to Vivian Valley, 2 and 3 year old, and owner of Estella's Fresh Mex. This is a 20th year in the restaurant business. Wow. So helped my mom open it when I was 20, back in 2004. So, but we're just getting started.
I'm Tyler Tiecke. I'm from Muscatine, Iowa as well. 35 years old. Wife, Madison Tiecke, son, Maverick, turns 2 in 2 days. And then I got a baby girl coming in July. So
Awesome.
Big, crazy life right now, but embracing it, enjoying it. Graduated from University of Iowa in 2012, majors in finance and marketing. Okay. And then in 2011, Jerry, at the end of 2011, just asked me out to lunch. Didn't really know him that well, and offered a sweat equity deal. And it's going on 13 years now later that I'm still here. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So growing up, you guys, did you not even?
No, I'm just a little bit older.
Just a little.
5 years.
Yeah.
He dated one of my friend's older sisters. Is the only way I knew of him.
Gotcha. Okay.
And,
okay.
We didn't meet until here. He was at the University of Iowa. I had a salsa business and needed some help. We were growing from about 20 to 30 high V's. We would sell our salsa and high V's. So initially I brought him on to help with that business.
Okay.
I had a small restaurant in Muscatine at the time, but really what I thought was going to happen was we were going to be, the salsa kings of the universe. And we ended up, so we grew to 30 some high V's in the area of selling our salsa. And then we randomly decided to open a restaurant in Iowa City, a small mommy's then. And
we needed a new commercial kitchen.
Yeah, we were looking for a kitchen. So we built a kitchen, decided to have the restaurant out of it, and then kind of just fell in love and it's transformed from the salsa to actually, let's just see if we can make this restaurant thing work. And that's kind of what we've been on. And that's evolved. Mommy's was an initial restaurant, and then it's kind of evolved to Estella's, which was First opened in 2017 downtown.
Okay. So was it an easy decision when he said, "Hey, let's go to lunch and talk this out"? Was it easy for you to like jump on board with his idea?
Kind of, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Like at the time, I had just got a car. I got my car totaled. I just got a new car to go do interviews across the nation.
Yeah.
Planning on heading down to Kansas City because I wanted to live there. And then that lunch offer, he hit me up, and you know, I have a hard time saying no to an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I ended up calling my stepdad at the time and just letting my parents know the opportunity that existed. Didn't expect it to come out of that little lunch meeting at Buffalo Wild Wings out by our Coralville location.
Yeah.
And I called him, and he had just got 40 years at Hahn, H&I Furniture Company in Muscatine. Yep. And he was just like, honestly, like what they gave me after 40 years, it was nice. But like what it told me was like, chase your dreams at a young age. Yeah. Go for it. He's like, you're going to go get some stock after 40 years at a business.
Yeah.
He's like, you're young. You got our support. You can make this happen. Ended up calling my dad. He basically said the same thing. Chase your dreams while you're young. Do it while you can. Yeah. And it was kind of like a no-brainer at that time. And it was just, to be completely honest, it was, to me, in my head, like a resume booster.
Yeah.
And 13 years later, here we are.
Well, it's awesome because like one of the things I say a lot today is I feel that it's, I wouldn't say easier, but there's more opportunity for young people to chase their passions as opposed to like the way we were brought up, right? Mm-hmm. It was graduate from high school, go to college, get a degree, you know, go into corporate America and do it that way. But now you see so many people that are just out looking outside the box and really following their passions. I mean, is that something that both, I mean, growing up, was that something, let me put it this way. Entrepreneurship, was that something that you both thought or could see yourself in when you were growing up? Or is that something that just kind of, materialized, you know, through the years and talking to different people?
Yeah, I think for me, around 17 or 18 is when I basically knew I had to be an entrepreneur. Like I had in the summers was working at the factory, at Hahn factory. Mm-hmm. And I just knew I couldn't do that. Like I have so much respect for people who do that. And I wish life had would have been easier and maybe even better for me in some aspects if I could have figured that out. But like, it felt like suffocation, like to me, and I just needed to try other things. But I think what kind of matched with the entrepreneur is that I enjoyed working. Like I had a paper route, like, and my mom made us get paper routes if we, because if we wanted new clothes, we had to figure out how we were going to buy them ourselves. So at a very young age, we had paper routes, and then when I could work, I worked for Pepsi restocking the shelves, and like I was, believe it or not, like just super skinny and tiny at that time, and I couldn't even pull the pallets or whatever. Like I would have to wake up at 6 a.m. and pull these pallets, and I couldn't do it. Like literally, their workers at these grocery stores would have to like pull it for me. It's still embarrassing to me to this day. But like I enjoyed working, but I just couldn't. Like it was just, and maybe it's because I couldn't keep up at Hahn. Like I was definitely. It was with older people in there, and I knew then, like, hey, I at least want to try to do my own thing at that aspect. And I think Tyler had like a lawn care business or something at a young age. So
yeah, I think over 75% of my family have all been entrepreneurs. My uncle, my dad, and most all my family has at one point either been their own boss or continue to be their own boss throughout their lives. So growing up, I did definitely see that path coming in my future. But like I had said, I just bought a car to go do interviews. So I didn't know my true future. Yeah. But yeah, at a young age, my brother was mowing a few lawns for like family and a couple of neighbors. Yeah. And I took over at 12 and then grew it to a significant, I had like 16 businesses at one time, or houses, whatever, restaurants and businesses that I take care of. And I did that from 12 to 18 and grew it. And just, it taught me how to deal with customers, meet their needs, keep them happy, grow business. And it came fairly natural. My parents definitely helped and pushed me to be, when I was young and pushing things off, wanting to hang out with friends instead of taking care of business. Yeah. And it just kind of gave me that work-life balance. And then at a young age, I saw my friends who either had to beg for money from their parents, or they had to go work at Hy-Vee for, at the time, $7 an hour, 6 and change, whatever it was. And they could work all week long and have what I made after a couple hours. Yeah. And I was like, there's something to this in life. And it kind of makes sense to me. And I went on to bartend through college, and I spent a good 6 years behind the bar, a couple extra. Yeah. And it wasn't obviously working for myself, but I made my own tips. I had my own relationships, and it still kind of like encouraged me to like go through that. And I wasn't sure the path. So when he gave me the sweat equity offer, I was like, the only thing that makes sense is to say yes and give this a go. So
no, that's awesome. So what was it about? I'm asking this. So what was it about Tyler that made you pick up the phone and set that meeting up with him?
Well, I knew about the lawn care business in high school, so I thought I was already kind of impressed by that. But honestly, I mean, I hate to say this, but I saw him working at a bar, and like he was just busting his ass. He was just the hardest working one there, and you know, he was super friendly, super nice, and so it's like what I had learned at that point was like that's the kind of person that you want. Like I was still fairly new into the salsa business and entrepreneurial thing, and I just knew I wanted somebody that worked hard and that was going to be willing to put it, like we were bottling our own salsa, we're putting labels on the salsa, we were taking them to the Hy-Vee, we were we're everything. Yeah, I still have scars from the 400 degree salsa we were pouring, but I just saw him just working hard, and I was like, that's a guy that I knew he had his own lawn care business. I knew he understood entrepreneurship a little bit, so yeah, that's what made me want to ask him to lunch. And
that's awesome. Well, I think that's one of the things, we talk about that with young kids, especially like as a coach, like, you can control your effort. Sometimes you can't control your circumstance, but you can control your energy, your effort, how you treat people, that kind of thing. So it says a lot about you that he noticed that and was like, okay, I think I could do something with this guy. And then, like you said, 13 years later, you guys are still rocking and rolling and growing it.
Like an old married couple.
That's the way it is. Well, that's so cool. So I'm going to go to this before we get to some of the other things, but you talk about work-life balance. The one thing that I say is there is no such thing as work-life balance. I think there's certain times in life where you're going to devote more time to your business, from like a sweat equity standpoint, like you're saying, and that may take away some time, with your wife and kids, but you have to make sure that the time that you spend with your wife and kids is precious and it's intentional and the focus is there. I think that's what we have to do a better job of in society is like, hey, it's not, I may have 4 hours with my family because I'm doing this project, but those 4 hours are going to be quality 4 hours. So what are some things that you guys do? And we'll start with you, Tyler. What are some things that you do to make sure that you're locked in with your wife and kid? Obviously we're in a whole different place than you guys are with about to be empty nesters, but the one thing I've been telling a lot of young husbands and fathers is when you're with your kids, be intentional. Don't let anything. And then when you have an opportunity to have a date night, even if it's just, hey, we're running here for an hour, that hour of intentional time with your wife means a lot, because if you wined her and dined her to get her to marry you, you need to keep whining and dining her through that. So so Tyler, so what are some of the things that you intentionally do to make sure that stays strong?
I give Jerry a lot of credit. I honestly think of it with us. So like when we first started, especially I went out to Colorado for 5 years with a lease, and the first 3 years, it was 2.5 years, 80-hour weeks, like tracking them and like working them. And it was a lot, but I didn't mind it. I don't mind the grind. I have almost like an issue with that, but something he's brought to my attention, his maturity, age, whatever you want to call it.
Age.
He's got a good outlook on it. And I think for us, once I had a kid, which was 2 years ago, but it was more, to me, kind of came off as like a life-work balance, flipping it, where he always makes sure that we're like taking care of the family. And like we could work countless hours at the restaurant. It could still happen, but he'll pull away and tell, it's time to go home. Time to go see the family. And like, I have this issue where I'm just like, I'm a busy mind, and I'm down to just keep grinding. And like, I truly appreciate his outlook of like, we need to balance life or this is going to burn ourselves out and we're not going to like what we're doing. And he's helped me take breaks, understand, be with the family, be present. And it's very helpful. He's helped me get away from my phone more. I used to just always be on it. And I'm like, I take his, years of, maturity and kind of try to learn from it. And I want to be able to be around for my family as much as possible. So it is a balance, but I feel like we always make sure family comes first to some extent. Obviously the business is our baby and it's the most important thing and we love it. So that's what keeps us going. But it is making sure that you're happy at home so you can be happy at work.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Anything to add?
No, yeah. I think it didn't seem like a benefit. I mean, when I was going through it, but like I didn't have my first kid till I was 36. So I was older. Right. And so like the restaurant was able to be like my main priority for a long time. And so now it's like more so like I built up all that time and me and Tyler kind of built up all that time that now we kind of do. Like, I think people would be surprised on how like we go home early. We spend a lot of time like with our family and like it was kind of just building that up. But like from 30 to 36, it definitely felt like I was an outcast. Like I stood out, like I wasn't the one, like all my friends and, were having kids and having their family and and I wasn't. And like, I think I just wish I could go back and tell myself, like, it's going to work out. You're going to be fine. Like, but the benefit of that is we spent a lot of time, like Tyler said, those 80-hour weeks, like that was not abnormal for a long time and for a lot of the years, a lot of the early years. And then anytime we built a new restaurant or transitioned from salsa back to the restaurant, back to salsa, like
COVID,
it took COVID, the 2008, like market crash, like that took us out like as a restaurant. And so like having built up all that time, I think it allowed me to be more grateful and more just appreciative of what I have like with my wife and my family. And that, I mean, we're home a lot. And I know like my oldest is already going to be in like full-time preschool next year. And it's like, okay, I'm not going to see her from 8 to 4 anymore. And it's like I can see where we're going to be able to put that time back into the restaurant here soon. And so we'll be ready to do that. But I think building up that bank of, waiting for, so long, like, even though it did, there's a lot of times where it was, kind of hurtful and painful. And like, it felt like I was, behind everybody else, but now I'm definitely reaping the benefits of putting all that time and work into the restaurant. And now we have so many good people that we can entrust our restaurant with. Like, I've got a nephew, my dad works there, like our other managers, like my mom and my stepdad are still heavily involved. And so, they've really kept the restaurant going as we've kind of had kids and stepped back a little bit. And so, I mean, I think, and there'll be a time where we can ramp it up again, but.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said too. Like, obviously we're on the other end of that. We got married and had kids right away. But then there was also the stress of finances, especially when you're young and trying building, but being in a position where you've waited a little bit, you're a little more established, you got things and you can provide. I know it's been for us too. You can provide your children maybe with a lot of things that you didn't have. I think it's funny. Dawn Staley talks about it when she recruits, like, your parents don't ever want you to fail. So they make it easy on you, right? Yeah. As a coach, but that's the thing. Like we want a better life for our kids. Yeah. And so, there's something to be said too about maybe waiting a little bit and having an established career. But then it also says that you've built a good business and you've built it with good people because you can entrust them when you step out the door, things are going to be working the same way. But talk about how your business has grown and it's just been incredible. You guys are kind of, if there's anybody in this area that I say has tried to embrace NIL with the University of Iowa, it's been you two, as far as what you've done with the Stellas and that kind of thing. So what's it been like to work with, some of the University of Iowa athletes? And then I'm going to ask you both, like, who's the ones that you really like? Maybe the funniest ones you've worked with.
There's quite a few.
Or maybe you might not have to say, you might say something like, well, this person played this sport. Maybe not want to throw any names out there. But how has it been for you guys trying to maneuver this whole new world of NIL?
Yeah. Rewarding. I mean, I think that's a good way to put it is we always wanted to work with them prior to the opportunity existing. So we tried to figure out ways that we could, get away with working with the athletes and trying to make deals prior to ever being able to pay them. And once the opportunity came up, we knew it was going to be something big. We were waiting for the date to turn over so that we could start contacting these athletes.
Yeah.
And it's enjoyment for us. I think like Jerry is a huge sports fan. I am as well, but not nearly as big as Jerry. And it's there's not a lot of people in this town to partner with as far as like really promoting your brand. There's definitely influencers in some levels and stuff. But with the University of Iowa being the main sports team, obviously Cyclone second, but like not having a professional team and being able to work with these athletes, they're all professionals. Most of the time they all show up ahead of time, ready to work, ready to deliver on what we ask. And it's just been a rewarding experience to get to know them. They're actually just regular people, which is a crazy thing because at Iowa we look at them like gods at some level. But it's truly been an honor to be able to like use our business to create the relationships and enjoy what we do, because marketing can get boring, it can get monotonous, it can you're trying to check boxes at some point, and this is a way outside of that box, and it's just been a great experience, and we love to get to build these relationships with your boys, with all these other athletes. And as far as one of our favorite, I don't want to be kissing up or anything, but that commercial we did with you guys was a treat. Yeah. And like, we knew the boys were going somewhere special. We didn't know where, we had no idea they'd be at this level. Yeah. But we just knew early on. And it's one of those things where you can kind of see these athletes, find the ones you like, and then to watch them grow. Similarly with Kate Martin recently and stuff, like working with her. It's like, I was on the phone with Coke this week and I make a service call and they're like, is this the location Kate Martin works at? Oh, for real? I'm just like, that's so cool. No. Like, we just need our fountain machine fixed.
No, that's awesome, because I mean, that ties back into like who produces this show, I mean, Storyline has helped you, like your commercials and everything have grown so big, and there's a lot of cool, it's just a lot of cool things, and having her be a part of it has been awesome. So what's it been like for you, Jerry? Yeah,
it's been awesome. I mean, I obviously big sports fan, and I just knew like the power that the Hawkeyes have, not only like around here, but just in the state of Iowa. Like, they are a professional team, and so like when it comes to influence, I just knew that there was something there. There's a reason why like Subway and all these other places use athletes and stuff, because there's obviously something to that. But the main thing was like when we were working in the restaurant, like we'd see these athletes come in and we actually got to interact with them and just see that they are just some good kids. And I think that's been the most like rewarding thing, is being able to give these kids like a platform to do different things that they want to do, like the podcast that we did, which thankfully John was around from Storyline to help us with that, because we kind of just pulled that out of nowhere and we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, but he saved our ass on that one. But yeah, so and we're willing to try things. We want them, like, we try not to do like meet and greets or anything like that, like anything. We want to, do the commercials. We want to do the podcast, kind of give them a platform to talk, because I think that's something that college athletes didn't have for a while, was a platform. They kind of had to follow these rules and stay within this box. And it's a different world. Like, whether it's good or bad, it's just different now. Yeah. And so giving the kids an opportunity to express themselves and, be who they want to be and give them different opportunities, it's been super cool. And then obviously as a Hawkeye fan myself, it's been, even more cool with that. I get to like meet with them and talk to them and see how great of people they are.
Well, I mean, from where you sit at the basketball games, I figured maybe somebody's kicking you back some tickets or whatever. But no, it's been fun. I think it's been really fun to just kind of see the evolution of that. Being in Iowa, like, we're not the ones that, it's not like, let's just take John Calipari going to Arkansas and knowing that he's going to have a $5 million bank of money to be able to give to athletes for this NIL thing. I think the one thing that what you guys have done, it really connects the athletes to the city, Iowa City, connects them to your restaurant. And I mean, there's probably people that come in just because they saw the Kate Martin commercial.
Like, hey, I got to go. Keegan and Chris commercial. Like that commercial like blew up like crazy. And I think that, that like we see it. And I think being in the restaurant a lot too, like we see, the seeds that we sowed, like we see the people coming in because of that. And we know the impact it has, and we see it going viral on whatever, Instagram, Twitter, or whatever. And it's like, it's working. It is. And I think like, we're just going to keep trying it. We're going to keep, trying to meet as many good kids as we can. I remember when we met with you, Keegan and Chris, the first time, and I just want to give you props for this, because, I just remember you saying right away, like, hey, this isn't about the money. We're not interested in like, we want to do deals with places they really like, they enjoy. And, you're like, we have our eyes set, on 4 to 6 years from now. And like, you had the vision already before. Honestly, I think it was before their sophomore year or whatever, when we first had that conversation. And like, even as like a avid sports fan, I was like, okay, I knew they could be in the league, but I was like, nobody really knew, but I think you did. And so I think you had that vision early on. It was great to like partner with you guys, because that's really what we don't want kids that just want it for the money either.
Right,
like we really want them to enjoy Estella's. And so I thought that was awesome. Like I think about that a lot, where I'm like, yeah, he knew, like, that was a dad that knew what was going to happen and could see the future. And so that was cool.
I was hopeful. But it was one of those things like, hey, I can go out and get you 30, 40,000 in the next couple of months, but what about 30, 40 million in the next couple of years? Like that was the idea of it. And I think it's great. But I also feel like NIL has skewed things for athletes as well. And a lot of people, especially these athletes that come from a background where they may not have had a lot of money, where, Chris and Keegan never had to worry. Always had a roof over their head, food in their belly, clothes in their back kind of thing. It might have been a little bit easier for us to like look at it that way. But yeah, I just thought it was a great way to connect them to the community and kind of get them out of their comfort zone as well. Like my wife and Michelle and I are always trying to get them to do things outside their comfort zone. Usually Chris is a little bit more apt to it than Keegan isn't, but we make it work.
Yeah, they did great.
Thanks. Well, I want to go back to like just like this being a family thing, right? So the idea, so you start the restaurant with your mom. So where did the inspiration for this restaurant come from?
It was inspired by my grandma Estella. And so 20 years ago when we opened up, it was called Mommy's, and because that's what my mom would call her mom, Estella, Mommy, M-A-M-I. And so she really had this desire to open it because my grandmother, her mom, Estella, passed away at 56. She was real young. It was when I was 9 years old. But she missed her, and she wanted to like go find a way to keep her spirit alive. And so she started that restaurant, and then up until 2017, when we started making changes to like how we make the fresh pressed tortillas, we'd added some new things. Really wanted to give it her name, the name of Estella. But it's always been inspired by her, and that's like from the recipes, but even more so, it's inspired by just how we treat like the employees, how we treat each other. Like it's just a spirit that lives, and like it's really a force now at this point where I think it's just going to keep on going and keep on growing. Like, and it's always given me like just motivation to keep going. Like even when times are hard, like I got it. Like it's got my grandma's name on it. Like we have to try to, provide the best service, to provide the best food. Cause if it had any other name, maybe I would have stopped by now or whatever, but I cannot stop. And I think that's like working with my mom. She's the other owner, and my stepdad, like, there's definitely were some times early on where I probably didn't appreciate being able to work with my mom, but now that I have my own kids and I'm getting a little bit older, and I know like, time's undefeated. So like there'll be a time where I won't be working with my mom. And so I'm really able to enjoy it now and kind of appreciate it. But yeah, that the family thing and just my grandma's spirit kind of is the main force of the restaurant. And it's really just like, I look at her. I'm just going to go off now about my grandma, because it's like my favorite thing to talk about, is like, so she passed away 31 years ago. And that's like, I'm still talking about her, and I'm still like, if somebody was on the outside, like looking at her life, somebody would be like, oh, she's not like a quote unquote, like real hero or legend or whatever. But to me, there's nobody above my grandma. She had 6 kids, was living by herself in Texas while her husband was away, like working the railroads, and was just traveling. And she was just trying to make ends meet. Like she's just a true entrepreneur, but instead of having like, being an entrepreneur with a business, she was an entrepreneur to survive. Like she was hustling and trying to feed kids. She was raising her younger siblings as well at the same time. And so like she was just a hustler in her own sense, and an own entrepreneur to just survive. And so that's why like I'm super grateful for like I can never be super stressed out about some of the stuff, because I just know the life she lived and what her steps took. I was able to enjoy a life, much better than she was, but that was her purpose, was so her kids had a better life, and then their kids had a better life. And that's kind of like where, I just get amazed by the person that she was. And especially the older I get, like I realize like how tough that would have been. But
well, that's awesome. And, for Tyler, I want to, you're creating your own legacy too with your family now. Like, what if there's anything that you want your son and daughter to know about their dad when it comes to, you know, what you've helped build here with Estella's? Like, you ever think about that? Like, you know, I want my kids to know this about their dad. It's a lot.
I don't think I've like put a specific like term to any of it.
Yeah.
But I always want to make sure that I am like leading with the right foot, taking care of others. It's like helping the less fortunate has always been something. Like, I grew up very comfortable, and like hearing like Jerry's childhood stories and stuff, it always impacts me because we have different reasons for our strengths and different reasons for our motivation and different reasons for other things. So I had an entirely different lifestyle from Jerry. So my motivation comes from different areas, but I had an amazing stepfather, best man I could imagine. And he just always taught me to do the right thing and to help those less fortunate and to like, you know, lead with a positive mindset. And there's times I get in a little like, you know, down turns and whatever it is, but like, it's nice to have his, you know, maturity that he has that I can also look up to. Because at this point, Estella's his family to me. Like, it's from all this time, it isn't like friendship anymore. It isn't business partners and stuff. Like, emotions that we have only happen with family. Gotcha. And that's the thing that kind of hit me too, is like, I don't have friends I feel this way about, for good or for bad. Yeah. But it's because we've grown and built the relationship that we've had that we're willing to do whatever it takes for any one of us. Yeah. Arnie, Elsa, Jerry, any of the family, it doesn't really matter anymore. So it went from just always doing the right thing to like caring enough that the only option was the right thing. Yeah. So if I leave something behind, if it's, you know, faced with a tough decision, make the tougher decision to do the right thing. Yeah. And just put your best foot forward and be almost unapologetic. If you're the best you can be, there's no reason to say sorry. Yeah. So. No, I love it. I love it. Leaving a legacy. That's what it's all about. Facts. So we've talked about a lot of great things, but what's next? You know, what's next for Estella's? I know you're in middle project mode right now, but if people don't know, just share with our audience kind of what's on the horizon for Estella's.
Yeah. So currently we are building out the new Coralville location, which so our current location that's over kind of by Buffalo Wild Wings, Texas Roadhouse, we're moving that one to a brand new spot about half a mile up the way towards North Liberty, Coralville. So right now we're in the middle of that build out. I'd say probably sometime in July that one's going to open. Okay. And then we're really just focusing on that one, using that one as being like the template for the other ones, because this one will be the first one that has like a carry out lane that you can just pull up to. You order ahead online, pull up to the window, and take your food and go. Oh, nice. Or hopefully we'll be introducing churros once we figure that out. But yeah,
I think so I had my first one though. I honestly have never had one. No, I can't remember where. I think I was, which is crazy. I think I was in Costa Rica. Oh yeah. And I had my first one. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Again, you can do so many different things. You can put like chocolate, you know, all these kinds of toppings on
Cereal,
there. You can ice cream. So we're excited to figure that out. I think that's one thing. Like you know, the competition does not have is some kind of dessert option, and then the carry out window will be huge as well. But yeah, we're using that as a template. We'll see. The one thing I've learned is to, you know, not make too many plans like far ahead, but like we want to expand to other markets at some point. Where that would be, I don't know. You know, it could be Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Quad Cities. Yeah. So we'll see what the right fit is.
I love it. All right. Well, so we always end every show rapid fire questions. So I got a few for you guys. All right. Okay. Start with you, Tyler. Bucket list sporting event.
Waste Management Open golf.
The who? What?
Waste Management.
Where's that at?
Sounds like a made up thing.
No, it's a party golf. It's where like they got that par 3. I think it's like the 16th, 17th. There's no being quiet. Everyone screams as loud as they can for that part. Yeah, it's the party golf event. Okay. So it's on my list. I got a brother who's like almost 50 now. He's my stepbrother, but he's my closest brother. Yeah. And that's my goal, to go with him. Okay. It's I love golf. It's my favorite sport, and it's just also mixed with a little bit of party.
Yeah,
so I gotta go before I'm too old. But I want to get there before I'm 40.
Sounds good, Jerry.
Mets World Series.
Okay.
New York Mets. Big Mets fan.
That's a little tougher.
They, that's probably never going to happen. But yeah, if that ever happens, I will be there.
He'll be there for sure.
Hey, love it. All right. Jerry, you can take your wife anywhere in the world for a week. Where would you take her?
Wherever she wants to. Honestly, I know I don't have a decision. The only correct answer is wherever she decides she wants to go for that week. And I'm sure it's different whether we just got back from like a 2-day trip in Des Moines and with the 2 and 3-year-old.
Yeah.
So she would vote for them not to go with us at this point, but wherever she want to go, she deserves to go.
That's funny because I just said the same thing about us. I was like, oh, our anniversary. I have no say in it. So
I don't even like to pretend like I do anymore.
Tyler?
I feel like I'm going to get in trouble if I actually give an answer now. Probably the Amalfi Coast, southern Italy.
Okay. Ooh, yeah.
I took a trip there once I graduated and spent like 30 days backpacking.
Wow.
And it just, to take a family there, at least my wife, it would be a dream to go back there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we'll start with you, Tyler, on this one. You can have dinner with 3 people living or who have passed. Who would they be and why?
For starters, Estella. Clearly never got the opportunity to meet her.
Yeah.
I would love to sit down with her and have a conversation. Let her know what she's meant to everybody. Let her know what's been created since she's been gone, but also just hear her history, hear her past. Yeah. I hear stories constantly and everyone gets emotional when they talk about her.
Yeah.
I would love that opportunity. So
that's
definitely Estella. Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just one of the greats. I cried when he won his last Masters, and I don't cry for that type of stuff.
I don't know if you'd be crying anymore.
Yeah. No, I do for different reasons. And then lastly, Gary Vaynerchuk, entrepreneur, podcaster.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, Gary V.
Gary V. Yeah. Jerry put me onto him in Colorado when I was out there kind of alone. And I think there's a lot that he's done for our motivation, for our encouragement, for our beliefs in ourselves, for everything else. Like, that's a great man. And I think a lot of people should listen to him that go in and out of listening to him. But if I'm ever in a spot, he can pull me out of anything. Gotcha. And he's definitely had a huge impact in our business. Although we've never met him. Yeah. He kind of has. Yeah. Interviews and stuff. A little bit. Yeah. But nothing serious. But yeah, between those 3, I think that all quite beneficial to my life.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, Jerry, your turn.
Well, I'm going to say it's the first one, Estella, for sure.
Took it from him.
I'm going to go, and then my cousin Jessica, because if we're doing people that have passed away, but I'm going to have 4, because then I need my 2 daughters, because I need my daughters to meet my grandma and Jessica, who are 2 women who just, like, I don't know, like if there's people who, like you meet people and then you just feel lighter when you're around them. Mm-hmm. And those were people who like just took it all on, like took everybody's like pain or whatever. Like you just felt lighter around them. And I think about that all the time. If they could have just met my daughters, like, which will happen someday. Like I'm confident of that, but that would be the dream. Just because there's so much that, you know, I know my grandma would love to be around my kids. So. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love it. Well, thank you guys for coming on. I mean, it's been an awesome show. Like I said, and I'm being so honest, none of this would be where it is or even materialize if it wasn't for you guys believing in me and giving me a shot and giving me a platform to kind of start it. I mean, I can't believe it's just 2 years. Yeah. 2 years ago we started this whole thing. But I want to thank you guys for that platform. Thank you for everything you've done and said about the boys. I know they love you guys just the same. And I don't know if we'll see you, but I know you're catering our daughter's graduation. No, we'll be there. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, just want to say thank you for guys. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate you as well.
This podcast is sponsored by Storyline Multimedia. Storyline is an Iowa City-based media company that specializes in creating high-quality video, photo, and audio production for local businesses. They also work with college athletes and connect local business with NIL opportunities. They also produce a number of hit podcasts, including this one. So if you're interested in sharing the story of your business with the world, contact them today by visiting storylinemultimedia.com. And remember, your story matters.